Now, radio host Alex Jones is one of the people, one of the outsiders who have infiltrated Bohemian Grove. He sneaked in back in 2000 and he filmed what he saw, some of it. And he joins us from Austin, Texas to tell us about these backwood deals. He also said he might have heard something over the weekend. Alex, on Friday we spoke, and thank you for joining us from Texas. We spoke and you said you were going to get some intel for us on this year's gathering. Did you find anything out?
Yes, we did, and we're learning a lot more. I've talked to employees that work inside the Grove, and they said that George Herbert Walker Bush, Bush 41, did engage in a drum circle with some of the younger people that were there, some of the big computer company CEOs. George Herbert Walker Bush has done this in the last few years in a row, stripping down to his underwear late at night.
Well, okay, let's put aside that. Do we know who's there this year and what is top on the agenda policy-wise?
Yes, some of the people inside have reported that some of the guests, not members, are Tom Cruise, Mark McGuire, people like that have been seen by some of the employees that we have contacts with. But you were asking what type of stuff was going on. That's some of the revelry. And we also know that on the Lakeside chat agenda, they're discussing how to expand the Arab Spring and basically have the West take over and overthrow many of the dictators that the West has been propping up. Really, it mirrors much of the agenda that our moles got out of Bilderberg 2011 when I sent my reporters to Switzerland.
Now, on Friday, you know, these are some big topics, and you made some allegations that your sources have told you about that are, you know, a pretty big deal for what could be being discussed. And on Friday, the interview that we had, you and I, was really popular on the internet. It became actually one of the 10 most discussed over the weekend, according to YouTube. So it shows that there is an interest in this subject. There is a you know, general desire to find out what's going on at something like this at Bohemian Grove. But aside from that, I really didn't see much over the weekend as far as press. I mean, a few blogs, maybe, you know, a few print articles. Why do you think we're not hearing anything about it this year?
Well, Lauren, that's a good question. If you look at something like Bohemian Grove, there's been very little press over the years about it. Same thing with Bilderberg. Just 5-6 years ago, the New York Times you know, made fun of myself and others, saying that Bilderberg didn't even exist, and it was a former German Chancellor, Helmut Schmidt, that said much of what is decided at Bilderberg is also you know, brought to a consensus at Bohemian Grove, and it's because so many of the CEOs of the big 6 media companies in the United States and Canada are in attendance that it would be career suicide for any of their reporters to report on it. In fact, the People magazine reporter back in the 80s snuck in and later had to publish his article in another magazine and was fired over, you know, daring to infiltrate the Grove, and he was caught and arrested. And so that's why you don't see hardly any mainstream media coverage of this. I mean, imagine you've got 1,000+ of the most powerful people in North America in the past and currently royalty flying in to be at these events, past presidents. The Bohemian Grove brag that Dick Cheney was chosen as the VP running mate for Bush in 2000 there. I mean, this is the power brokers, and they want to be left alone. And so the media they own and control is not going to cover it, and that's why I'm glad RT is covering it.
Well, and that said, though, Alex, and I hear what you're saying, and thanks for thanking us for covering it. We think it's important to be talking about. But you've been really interested in this in the past. You've gone, you've sneaked in, you've videoed it. How come you don't have the interest this year? How come you weren't there?
Well, to be honest with you, I almost got arrested in November of last year. I went there with the History Channel with Decoded, and it turned out that they had talked a little too much at their hotel because the town is heavily employed by the Grove, and that they were waiting for us. And so we landed there on the back end via the Russian River, and they were starting to go up, and I basically, you know, hung back, and then boom, here came the security people, detained them. I was not detained. I went and jumped off a cliff into the river and swam away. And so, you know what? I think I pressed my luck enough here, and I had to swim out of the river, and that's actually been on the History Channel, but they cut it at the point that the police come out and the security guards because of liability issues. So I literally had to escape and jump into the river and make my way back over a mile and then climb out where my driver was waiting.
So it sounds like a lot went on. You don't want to relive that. But one of the groups who was calling for people to show up and to protest, reportedly anonymous, put out a video on the internet, the hacking group. It can't be confirmed that it was them exactly, but that's what, the video purports it to be. I want to play a little bit of what they were calling for.
The ideas, concepts, and plans that are devised at Bohemian Grove result in crimes against humanity. These secret meetings must no longer be tolerated. These secret meetings must become transparent.
So that's what Anonymous was calling for. They were calling for protests as a result of, some of the things that they see as the problems with Bohemian Grove. But what about those who suggest that it's just past its prime, that it's not a big deal anymore? We haven't heard a lot of what has gone on there, that's been impactful really since the 80s. So do these people have a point?
Well, no. First, the corporate media denied it existed for a long time, just like Bilderberg, and now that we've exposed it, they say, oh, it's no big deal. The reason they have Secret Service there, the reason there's such security, is because major global decisions are being made inside the North American/British power axis, known as the Anglo-American establishment, that their own historian Carol Quigley wrote about. And as I said, German Chancellor Schmidt, Helmut Schmidt wrote about how major decisions are being made there. The Grove likes to say they don't have any power and then try to be secret, but then separately, via the San Francisco Chronicle, Berkeley, and San Jose State, they release the minutes, usually decades after the fact, of meetings they had at the Chalet. If it's a meeting house, holds several hundred, and then also the Lakeside Chats. And so for 15 days, extremely powerful people are getting together, not to just get drunk. They're getting together because in this atmosphere of revelry, they're able to cement the leadership of the New World Order system and get a continuity of agenda going. By combining forces, they protect their assets, but also expand their power. And so a lot more decisions get made there than get made in Congress. And then their lapdogs in the Congress basically execute what the Bohemian Grove's lobbyists from the major corporations pay them to do. So this is special interest meeting under the redwoods in a 2,800-acre compound under guard. And major decisions are being made there, and the Logan Act is being violated.
Okay, and that's quite a charge. So my question to you, since you have people on the ground, you have wait staff that you say you talk to, you've been there yourself, what is the biggest example you would give in recent years that makes you feel like major stuff is going on there that people should be concerned about?
You've got more and more the leadership of Google, Yahoo, Microsoft, and Apple at Bilderberg and also at the Grove, and more the establishment's counting on their technocracy. They've got the technology heads meeting with the head of the NSA at Bilderberg and reportedly also at Bohemian Grove to codify the cybersecurity takeover of the web. The Pentagon admits they've got fake bots out propagandizing Americans with fake comments, that they want to be able to have an internet kill switch, that now they're going to have government announcements forcing their way onto your mobile phones and portable computers with government announcements. And you've got the technocrats and the corporate owners of the technocracy meeting with government in this seamless fusion that can only be called corporate fascism or crony capitalism. And so a lot of big decisions are being made at Bilderberg and Bohemian Grove.
All right. Well, Alex Jones, thank you for giving us your insight, and let us know if you hear any, anything that comes out of this meeting this year that we should know about. So thanks. That was Alex Jones, radio host from Austin, Texas.